Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday Story, a place where I share my personal stories that change the way I look at life, the way I look at myself, and the way I look at the world. I'm Neetu Chaudhary. I welcome you to Friday's Story, and I'm always happy to hear from you. So please write in comments. What are you doing? What's special for the weekend? And what's your learning plan for the rest of the year? Today's story is about inclusivity, inclusion. There is a lot of hot discussion going on around the globe for this diversity, inclusion, equity, all these things. So today's story is focused on that. This story is especially from my for my HR friends. It is a bit hurtful story, so if you don't want to get hurt, you can still like stop this video and see something interesting better for you. But this story is a bit hurtful, so if you're ready, like this is a disclaimer I am giving for this. So, this story, what happened? Let me give you a little bit background. I'm Business Excellence Award Assessor and team leader for various Business Excellence Awards across the globe. So, I do lead like the business excellence. The companies do apply, and we go there as a team to assess their practices and like the policies and everything to see their business excellence approach, and then the whole process is there. So I went for one of the assessments, one of the awards, one of the assessment. We went there, and during the discussion, the HR manager and HR director of the company, they were talking about how they have managed to beat all KPIs of diversity, inclusion, what are their different approaches are there, and what employee engagement activities they are doing for diverse workforce, all these things, all the numbers were there, everything was there. So we had a long discussion about it. As the assessment finished, the HR manager said that let me drop you because I have a driving license, but I don't drive car for some reason. So he said that okay, he'll drop me because his home was on the way. And I said, okay, that's perfectly fine. So as he came to drop me, we were talking in the car, and he mentioned that he lives in certain place. He chose that place to live because in that apartment, in that building, the same nationalities live from the same part of that country. They live there, and he prefers his kids to grow up with the same community from which he belongs to. And it was a shocking to me. Why it was shocking? Because he's exactly the same person who was talking all the big things about inclusion, diversity, and why we should be open minded and open door policy for everybody because we get ideas, innovation, everything. And suddenly, from 9 to 5, when he was talking about advocating these things, from 5 to 9, he has entirely different mindset. And that's the biggest reason that why people are struggling, why the companies are struggling for diversity and inclusion. Diversity is easy to do. I always say that it's just a number game, it's a KPI, you can do that. Inclusion is the biggest challenge, and inclusion cannot happen until we change this mindset. If you're doing something like inclusivity fails when people advocating them from 9 to 5, but mingle with people those who are mirroring them from 9 to 5. So when they are, sorry, from 5 to 9, so if from 9 to 5 they are advocating inclusivity and diversity, everything, but from 5 to 9 if they hate it, in that company, diversity and inclusion is never going to be a success. Diversity may be possible because it's a number game. Inclusion will never be a success. There will be toxic positivity, there will be microaggression, there will be violent communication, there will be office politics. All these things will happen because people, those who are leading it, do not believe in this thing. You cannot sell something if you don't believe in it, and that's the reason there are a couple of programs which even if I get like clients approach me and they ask, I say I'm not going to do that because I don't believe in it. If I don't believe in that, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not doing justice to it. So I want you, all of you, to do this survey, those who, especially those who talk about diversity, inclusion and all these things. I want you to do this audit. Make a list of your top 10 people or top 5 people with whom you interact the most, and those who are your close friends, with whom you spend most of the time, you like to share your things with them. You, if you, they're close to you, basically the top 10 close people other than your family. Who are those 10 people? What is your nationality? What is your gender? What is their hair color? What is their eating habits? What do they like to do? What is their favorite sport? Just do this audit and see. Whenever I do this, whenever in any of the events I ask people to do that audit, that's a kind of showing mirror to them. We all talk about inclusion, diversity and all, but when we see the people to whom we are close to or spend most of the time, other than your office, other than your family life, when you have no restriction to do that, in that space of time, with whom do you choose to spend the time? When I go for events and I see big events, I'm not talking about small events, I'm talking about big events where more than 100 plus nationalities are there, from like different gender, nationality, different experiences. I want you to do this observation henceforth as well. You observe how people are making groups over there. Same nationality, same gender, people from same company, they make the groups over there and they start discussing about it. Nothing wrong about it. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you really believe and if you want inclusion to succeed, we don't have to only work from 9 to 5 for that. It has to become the way we live, it has to become the culture of our own, it has to become the mindset. Then only it will succeed. Only by writing in paper we can achieve diversity, we can never achieve an inclusion until it becomes our habit. If you're stopping your child to play with the other child who's from a different background, different nationality, different skin color, or for whatever reason you're stopping other than the behavior thing, in that case you are not supporting inclusion. You're teaching your kids to, like, you belong to certain group and you are not supposed to play with the other group. So I want you to do this audit. Another story I want to share with you, actually this has happened many times. I prefer, during when I take trainings, I prefer to make different groups on different table. And the reason I do is that I want people like different seniority, different gender, different nationalities to sit together and discuss. But many times it happens that during the first session, everybody will follow. Immediately after break, they make the group, they change the places, and they, one nationality sitting together, one gender sitting together, they all make the groups and they go back to the. And I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about people, those who are advocating, the departments, those who lead and advocate diversity and inclusion. I'm specifically talking about this behavior I have seen from them. So I want all of us to reflect on this. Do we believe in it or not? If we don't believe in it, then we are doing injustice by saying that we are trying to deploy these things, implement these things. And if we believe in it, then what's stopping us from, like, doing it? If you're doing it from 9 to 5, what is stopping us from doing from 5 to 9 as well? Why it can't be our mindset? Why it can't be our culture? Why we can't have the open door policy, open mindset policy, and cultural acceptance and tolerance from 5 to 9 as well? I want you to do this reflection, and please write in comments, what do you think about it? Whatever you are learning from these Friday stories, please share with your friends and family, especially children. I'm sure it's going to inspire them. I'm always happy to hear from you. So please stay connected and looking forward to meet you next Friday as well. Have a lovely weekend.